shadowy figures creeping through doorways, or the objects moving on their own. While we worry about what's out there, something terrifying might already be hiding behind the walls of our homes. So let's take a look at the most unbelievable times when intruders entered with the intention to stay forever. In Queens Village, a man had been sneaking into homes, and recently police revealed a video of him in action. He hid behind a backpack, carefully placing a device on the floor that seemed to be a Wi-Fi jammer, hoping to shut off the security cameras. However, what he didn't expect was that the cameras didn't rely on Wi-Fi. As he moved into the kitchen, the system came back online, capturing his every move. Realizing his plan had failed, the man quickly fled the scene. It was a close call for the would-be intruder, but the cameras had captured enough to help track him down. Farmhouse mystery. A man stood at a distance, pointing his camera toward an old, silent farmhouse. As he zoomed in on the upper window, something caught his eye. A dark figure stood inside, slowly walking back and forth behind the glass.
What the f*** is that?
Its shape was hard to explain. Tall, shadowy, and completely still between short steps. The house had no lights, no sound, and no reason for anyone to be there. Yet the figure remained, calmly pacing, as if it lived there. Seconds later, it faded into the darkness, leaving only an empty window behind. The man lowered his camera, unsure of what he'd just seen. Security cam footage. Near an IT park, a man was heading out of a hotel when a dark figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Without warning, it lunged forward and grabbed his legs, dragging him across the ground. The shape had no clear form, just a shadow with weight and strength. He struggled against it, pulling himself toward the doorway. After a few tense seconds, the grip loosened, and he scrambled away. When he turned back, the hallway was empty. The figure had vanished, leaving no trace of where it came from or where it went. Peeking entity. One quiet evening, an elderly woman sat alone in her home when something strange caught her attention. From the corner of her eye, she noticed a figure peeking at her through the doorway. It wasn't a person, and she had no pets. The head was low, the movement still, almost as if it was watching. She froze, unsure of what she was seeing. When she looked again, the creature was gone. The hallway was empty, yet the feeling of being watched lingered. Since then, she's believed it may have been something unnatural, perhaps even a skinwalker. Shadowy figure. One evening, a boy was playing video games in his room while his mom was elsewhere in the house. As he focused on the screen, something unusual appeared. Just above his door, a dark figure peeked from the top corner. It didn't move like anything he recognized. Without a second thought, he jumped up and slammed the door shut. Moments later, his mom entered, surprised by his reaction. He hurriedly explained what he had seen, asking her to check the security cameras. She looked unsure, but the boy stayed firm. To him, that shadow wasn't a trick of the eye. It was real. Haunted Indian house. An Indian family had just moved into their new home, filled with hopes for a fresh start. One night, the man was woken by the sound of his son crying. He rushed into the hallway, where a figure resembling his son was seen running down the dark corridor. His vision unclear in the dim light, he followed quickly. Before he could get closer, his wife's voice stopped him, calmly mentioning that their son was asleep in his room. Terrified, they checked the security camera footage. What they saw sent chills down their spines. The ghostly figure, which had been a blur to the naked eye, was clearly visible on the camera, moving through their home. Demonic girl. In the footage, a little girl stands outside a door, her face looking eerily unsettling, as if something is not quite right. Inside, a woman can be seen, calmly extending her hands towards the girl, as if inviting her in to offer comfort. But when a few people moved closer to get a better look at the girl, they were stunned to find she had vanished without a trace. There was no sign of her, as if she had never been there at all. The unsettling silence that followed only deepened the mystery. Possessed Granny. A grandson, concerned for his sick grandmother, sets up a camera to keep watch over her at night. The next morning, he nervously checks the footage, hoping to find nothing unusual. What he saw instead sent a chill down his spine. In the middle of the night, his grandmother had woken up and sat in a strange, unsettling position. Then she suddenly stood up, staring directly at the camera, her mouth wide open. To his horror, she began crawling around the room, her movements unnaturally stiff, and even tried to bite the camera. The footage left him questioning what he had just witnessed, and whether his grandmother was truly the same person he once knew. Creepy figure. A family in the United Kingdom had an unsettling experience when their daughter claimed to see a shadowy figure in the window of a nearby house. Concerned, the father decided to record what was happening outside. The camera captured was truly disturbing. An eerie shadow moved across the windows, shifting in ways that made no sense. The family watched, both puzzled and scared, as the mysterious movements continued. No one could explain what they were seeing, but the footage left them with an uncomfortable feeling that something or someone was watching them from just beyond the glass. Kitchen encounter. A girl had been home alone for 3 days, and at first, everything seemed normal. But soon, she started hearing strange noises coming from the kitchen, as if something was moving around when no one was there. Feeling unsettled, she decided to set up her phone camera in the kitchen before leaving. Later, she checked the footage. An object fell off the counter on its own, but that wasn't the most chilling part. Just after, a dark, shadowy figure quickly appeared from behind the counter, staring directly at the camera. She couldn't believe what she saw. Terrified, she ran out of the house, but the mystery lingered. Who or what had been watching her all along? Home alone. One evening, a girl heard strange noises coming from the bathroom. She went to check and was horrified to see an eerie hand creeping over the bathtub curtains. Heart pounding, she pulled the curtains back, but to her shock, no one was there. The bathroom was empty. Yet the strange feeling lingered. What had she seen? The silence that followed only deepened the mystery. She couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was still in the room. Construction house intruder. A man was having his house renovated when one day his neighbor mentioned seeing someone inside. Worried, he approached the house and looked through the window before entering. To his shock, he saw a strange figure standing inside. It looked like a man in a black hoodie, but there was something off about it. The figure had a red face with glowing eyes, almost as if it didn't belong there. After staring at him for a few moments without moving, it suddenly sank down quickly, vanishing into thin air. What do you think it was? Intruder in mosque. A video from a mosque in Indonesia has been making its way across the internet, leaving viewers unnerved. In the footage, a group of children is seen sitting peacefully on the ground, unaware of the presence above them. On the dark, open rooftop, a strange figure can be spotted. Its face is pale, and its expression is disturbingly angry. The figure remains still for a few moments, watching the children, before vanishing into the shadows. The video raises unsettling questions. What was this figure, and why did it appear at that moment? The mystery continues to haunt those who've seen it. Red-eyed demon. There's a reason why people say some places are better left undiscovered. One man learned this the hard way. Curious, he ventured into an abandoned building, only to be met by a terrifying sight. As he turned around, he saw a giant figure standing in the doorway behind him. Its pale face and glowing red eyes sent a chill down his spine.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان.
Before he could react, it vanished back into the darkness. The man quickly turned on his torch, but there was nothing there anymore. Shaken, he left in a hurry, never returning again. Some things are better left unexplored.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Creepy crawler. During an exploration of an abandoned building, a man's trip took a terrifying turn. He saw a dark, petite figure crawling swiftly toward him from a window. Its thin, eerie body moved at full speed, rushing directly at him. Panic surged through him, but he managed to turn and escape. Losing track of the creature, his heart still pounding, he rushed out of the building, leaving behind the unsettling memory of what had almost caught him in the shadows. Peeking intruder. One evening, a woman was home alone when she noticed something unsettling. From the top of her window, a creepy entity appeared, its long, messy hair hanging loosely around its face. It just stood there, motionless, staring directly at her as if it wanted to come inside. The eerie silence and its unblinking gaze sent a chill down her spine. She couldn't look away. Yet there was something about it that made her feel like she should never take her eyes off the window. Screaming creature. While doing laundry, a girl suddenly noticed a pale, screaming figure at the top of the bathroom door. Terrified, she rushed to open the door, expecting to confront whatever it was. But when she stepped inside, the bathroom was completely empty. No figure, no noise, just silence. The image of the screaming figure stayed with her, leaving her to wonder if it had been a hallucination or something more sinister. Ward mystery. A psych ward worker was going about her duties when she glanced at a silver mirror hanging above. In the reflection, she saw a dark figure standing there. Even though no one was in front of the mirror, she quickly turned around, but the room was empty. The figure lingered in the mirror for a moment before it vanished without a trace. The unsettling sight left her questioning what she had just seen, with no explanation in sight. Scary clown. I keep telling myself that maybe clowns aren't as creepy as they seem, but then videos like this pop up, and I remember why I stay away. This time, it was a clown caught on a Ring doorbell camera, hanging around the neighborhood. It stood perfectly still for a while, just staring at the door. The whole scene felt off, like it wasn't just there for a friendly visit. Without a sound, it turned and vanished into the darkness, leaving a sense of unease behind. Moving shadow intruder. No one wants to be home alone when strange things start happening. This man had a chilling experience one night when the lights began flickering. As he stood in the darkened hallway, he saw a short, eerie shadow move down the stairs. It didn't belong to anyone. There was no person in sight. The shadow traveled across the floor, moving straight ahead, but there was nothing in front of it. The unsettling image remained as the man stood frozen, watching it disappear into the shadows. He quickly realized that whatever he had seen couldn't be explained by logic. Sprinting creature. In June 2020, a Facebook user went live late at night to talk about a strange encounter with a creature that looked like a werewolf or dog man. As he spoke in the dark, something unexpected happened during the stream. A tall, shadowy figure suddenly ran across the screen. It moved fast. Too fast to be a person or any known animal. The user noticed it right away and quickly shut the door behind him. His reaction wasn't staged. His voice shook. The figure appeared only for a moment, but it left behind a mystery no one could explain. Girl spirit. During an exploration of a haunted house, a group of men made a chilling discovery. As they moved through the darkness, one man noticed a small figure peeking from behind a wall. It was a little girl, her face pale and cold. Suddenly, she fully revealed herself, standing silently in front of them. Terrified by the sight, the men rushed back for safety, their hearts racing. The image of the ghostly child lingered with them long after they had escaped the house. haunted house intruder. One night, a man was startled by strange clapping noises coming from the bathroom. Curious, he got up to check, thinking something had fallen. As he approached the door, he saw clear hands slapping at the door, as if trying to force it open. With a racing heart, he quickly opened it, but there was no one inside. The room was empty, yet the eerie feeling lingered, leaving him to question what he had just witnessed. Old church mystery. While exploring an old church, this man's adventure took a terrifying turn. As he walked through the dimly lit space, he spotted a pale woman sitting alone in the front, dressed in a white gown. Her dark, empty eyes stared ahead, and there was something distinctly unnatural about her. It was clear she wasn't human. In a panic, he screamed and bolted for the door, rushing outside with his heart racing. The image of the eerie figure haunted him long after he escaped. Walking intruder. A group of friends was enjoying a night stay when something strange occurred. One of them was filming videos when, in the background, a creepy figure appeared, walking behind the fridge just as one of the friends opened it to grab something. The figure seemed to vanish as quickly as it had appeared. Afterward, the filmer checked the house, looking for any sign of someone else, but found nothing. It was just the group of friends in the house. The strange event left them all shaken, with no explanation for the eerie figure that had briefly appeared. Mirror ghost. An explorer ventured into an abandoned house, searching for clues about its past. As he passed by an old mirror, something caught his eye. In the reflection, a strange figure, a girl with long, dark hair, peered from behind the glass. Her face was barely visible, but her presence was undeniable. The explorer froze, staring at the eerie sight before quickly turning away. He couldn't shake the feeling that the girl in the mirror was watching him long after he left the house. Heavy footsteps. One evening, a couple was home alone when they began hearing strange noises coming from the basement. The man, curious and concerned, decided to go check it out. As he descended into the basement, he found nothing out of the ordinary. Just as he turned to head back upstairs, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from behind him. Growing louder, he quickly turned around, but there was no one there. In a hurry, he ran back up to the safety of the main floor, unable to explain the mysterious footsteps. The unsettling feeling lingered long after.
Oh my God!
Mommy visits home. A camera had been set up in the house just to keep an eye on the kids, but one night it captured something no one could explain. A strange figure showed up. Tall, thin, and almost human, but something about it felt off. It moved slowly, like it didn't know where it was or what it was doing. It walked through the living room, pausing now and then, as if it was trying to understand everything around it. Then, without any noise, it turned and disappeared into the dark. After that, the house went completely quiet. Nobody could figure out what they'd seen. Backyard monster. The motion camera outside this house picked up something no one could explain. A dark shape appeared near the wall, its form hard to define, but the eyes were clearly glowing. It stood there without moving, as if observing. At first, people thought it might be someone trying to break in, but when they looked closer, something didn't feel right. The way it drifted across the yard, the shape of its body. It didn't move like a person at all. Moments later, it faded into the darkness, leaving behind no signs. Only a strange feeling that it might return. Creature in bedroom. Back in 2006, Pensacola, Florida became the setting for something truly strange. A man was asleep, unaware of what was quietly unfolding, but the surveillance camera above his bed didn't miss a thing. A soft yellow glow lit the open doorway, and then a figure crept into view. Thin, with an oddly shaped head and long limbs, it slowly peeked around the doorframe. Its movements were slow and silent, almost too careful. Whatever it was, it didn't look like it belonged in any normal bedroom. No one ever figured out what it was, or how it got inside. Cracked doll. One night, a family heard the doorbell ring and went to check, expecting a visitor, maybe a neighbor. But what they found on the doorstep left them frozen. Sitting quietly was an old doll, its head cracked, one eye chipped, and the other staring straight ahead. It didn't look like any regular toy. Its face was worn, its dress faded, and it almost gave the feeling that it had been watching. No note, no explanation, just the eerie silence around it, as if it had arrived on its own, with a reason no one could understand. Behind curtains. During a late-night walk, a man passed by an old house when strange noises caught his attention. He paused, aimed his flashlight toward a window, and that's when something unsettling revealed itself. Behind the thin curtain stood a pale, motionless figure, its face dull and human-like, yet not quite right. It didn't move or blink, just stared. No one else was around. The house seemed empty, but that figure remained, half hidden in the dim glow. Whatever it was, it definitely wasn't expecting to be seen. Tiny humanoid in-house. A woman was home alone when she heard soft rustling sounds coming from the lobby. Curious but cautious, she peeked around the corner, and that's when she saw it. A tiny, human-like figure was walking across the room, no taller than a child's toy. It tiptoed across the floor with careful steps, as if it had a purpose. It didn't look at her. It didn't stop. It just moved along like it belonged there. And that's what made it worse. Like it knew the place better than she did. Girl on door. One night while cleaning his house, a man was startled by strange squeaking noises coming from behind the curtains. There, in the dim light of the window, stood a pale, eerie figure. It looked like a girl, but not quite human.
What?
Her jet black eyes stared through him. She told the guy her eerie story, but before he could understand what was happening, the mysterious girl tried to attack him. He got lucky as the door was closed and went back inside. Garage intruders. In a security video, two small, shadowy figures were spotted in a parking lot, barely a foot tall. They moved in a way that felt strange, almost like they were up to something secretive. Their tiny, dark shapes glided silently through the dim light, unnoticed by anyone else. Watching it, you couldn't shake the feeling that their quiet movements held a deeper, mysterious purpose. Yet no one knows what they were really doing. Demonic entity. A woman was alone at home. Everything felt normal, until she heard a strange sound just outside her bedroom door. It didn't seem right. Curious but cautious, she picked up her phone to record. That's when things turned odd. A soft laugh echoed in the hallway, followed by a quiet whisper that said, "Let me in."
At my door, and I don't know what it is. What the? Oh my god! Oh my god!
Then a beam of light slowly passed through the gap, as if someone was using a torch to look inside the room. There it was, a glowing eye staring straight at her. It didn't blink. It didn't move. And the girl considered it enough to leave the house. Hands through walls. One night, a homeowner saw something that completely unsettled them. Several large, dark hands started emerging from the roof of the house. One by one, they stretched upwards, reaching as if they were searching for something. The entire scene felt unnatural, as if the hands didn't belong in that place at all. Moving slowly, they seemed to explore the world above, while the rest of the surroundings remained eerily quiet. It left the homeowner wondering what or who was behind those hands. Dark entity. What was captured on the footage left people questioning the unknown. The man walked into the house like any other day, unaware of what awaited him. As he approached the door, a dark, eerie presence seemed to materialize from thin air. Suddenly, a shadowy figure reached out, grabbing him and pulling him inside. The footage showed the man desperately struggling, but then he vanished from view. No one knows what happened to him after that. Let's just hope the figure released him and didn't leave any lasting consequences behind. Ghost in bedroom. A man was resting in his room when he suddenly heard a loud sound from outside his door. He looked up and saw the door slowly creaking open by itself. His eyes darted across the room, and that's when he noticed something unsettling. A dark, shadowy figure creeping up the side of his bed. It crawled toward him, its presence cold and eerie. But before he could react, it vanished into thin air. What was it? A ghost? Or something more sinister? The mystery was left hanging, a reminder that sometimes the ordinary hides the extraordinary. Creepy hands. One quiet night, as a girl sat in her room, she was startled by soft noises coming from the basement. Curiosity got the best of her, so she grabbed a flashlight and went to check it out. When she reached the stairs, her heart skipped a beat. 2 hands. Just hands were crawling up the steps.
Sora!
Moving slowly like they were searching for something. It didn't feel like a prank. It felt too real. What was it? And how did those hands end up there? It's the kind of thing you never forget. Creature behind girl. This content creator was lost in her usual routine, unaware of what was happening around her. As she continued, a dark figure quietly appeared at the top of the stairs in the background. It sat still, staring at her, its presence unsettling. Viewers quickly caught on, flooding the chat with comments. Some thought it was a prank, while others were convinced it was something far more sinister. The streamer, still unaware, couldn't shake the strange feeling when she later reviewed the footage. What was that figure, and why was it watching her? Black entity in house. It was a typical evening, nothing out of the ordinary. She was just winding down when she started to feel like something was off. At first, she shrugged it off, but curiosity got the better of her. She got up and started walking around, trying to shake the unease. That's when she noticed it. A dark figure, just barely visible, peeking from behind the wall. It wasn't moving, but something about it felt wrong. She stood frozen, her heart skipping a beat. Was she seeing things, or was there something in her home she didn't understand? Abandoned building figure. This man was capturing the view, casually filming the surroundings when something unusual caught his attention. Through his camera lens, he spotted a strange figure in an abandoned building, an alien-like shape with long arms. It stretched out, almost as if testing the air, before quickly retreating behind a wall, aware of being watched. For a brief moment, it lingered, peeking out, then, as if disappearing into thin air, it was gone. The man stood there, unsure of what he had just witnessed. Tiny, creepy intruder. While this woman was in the kitchen, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. When she turned to check, a small figure caught her eye. It was peeking out from behind the wall, almost like it was trying to stay hidden. But as soon as she moved closer, it vanished without a trace. Like it had never been there. Was it a ghost? Or something more mysterious? She couldn't quite tell, but it sure left her wondering. What do you think it was? Let me know in the comments. And now, let's move on to the subscribers pick. This man wandered through the abandoned building, his flashlight casting weak beams over the dust-covered floors. He'd expected a quiet exploration, but then he saw it. Just a glimpse at first, a dark shape, almost like a shadow, standing in the corner of his eye. He stopped in his tracks, heart racing, unsure if his mind playing tricks. Slowly, he stepped closer. The figure didn't move, just watched him from the darkness. And then, before he could even blink, it faded away, leaving him standing there, unsure if he'd seen anything at all. And with that, see you next time.